Well, hello everyone. This is Mark Harris, and welcome to one of a very important series of hangouts that I want to do on the WebTV revolution. And my co-host Ann DeVere and I are going to be talking today about a really important subject that hopefully you guys are all excited about. Of course, we know that in over the last couple of years, has become possible now to do some things that are pretty amazing and outstanding as it relates to getting an impact and getting your message out to the world. My goal in my Thought Leadership Alliance anyway is to help people who have a message to get that message out to the world, and of course to change the world in the best way they can. But of course that takes getting exposure, or as Ann likes to say, visibility. So one of the things we have to understand here is the epic proportions of this trend. And the trend is simply this: is that 20 years ago, every evening there was 100 million people on the big three TV stations, and now there's only in the single-digit millions. Okay, where the people who are now on the internet has gone from just the millions to the 100 millions each evening, watching videos, watching web TV shows, things like that. So we have this huge opportunity, and it's not just big media companies doing this. It's now individuals who have a message that they want to get out to the world. And they can do it in large or very niche audiences, as well as very detailed audiences, as big as they want or as small as they want. And the neat part about it is, with very little technology, with very little money, with actually a fairly small staff, you could actually do these kind of things. Of course, Google Hangouts has made this possible, but you see, it's not just about the technology that makes it possible, which most of you on this call should know what that is. If you don't, let us know, and we'll definitely give you some information about how Google Hangouts is really making that something amazing. But what really is the opportunity is the ability for you to create your own web TV show in your own niche. Now, of course, this is like perfect for authors and experts and speakers and coaches and consultants and people who write books and all that stuff. It's really perfect for those kind of people, but it really is also perfect for anybody who really needs to position themselves as a leader in a specific market. So if that's you in any way, shape, or form, then you're going to understand and learn a lot from this session. And we're also going to go through the 12 steps that you need in order to actually successfully create your own web TV show, and to make it profitable, and to get the message that you want out there. Now, keep in mind, there's lots of ways of monetizing this. And if you're in, say, what we would call a regular business, right, you may be asking yourself, well, how can I monetize this? And we'll go through that in detail when Ann's, she's almost here. She'll be ready to join us here in a minute. But I want to just kind of share with you a little bit of a background on how you can use that. Right now, one of the biggest trends in the world of consumer marketing really is there's three big trends you need to be aware of in a big way. And that's, first, of course, the information age trend, which is going on for 40 years now. And of course, this information age has created such a glut of information that now we can't even find the information we're looking for, not because it's no longer scarce, but the fact is there's so much information that you really can't find what you're really looking for, or it takes a lot more time sometimes to find it. And there's a lot more information that's never been ever been available. Well, when you take the second trend, which is what we call the communication age trend, and you take those two together, you have the information age trend, you have the communication age trend, and you multiply them times each other, that's what we have today. We have all this information being communicated and coming from all sorts of different angles to everybody out in their different markets, which means you create a third trend, which is what we would call an attention deficit trend, right? And it's not just a fancy term for like a medical ailment. It's simply the fact that people can't think straight anymore, and they've really lost their minds in the various markets that they're involved in. And what I mean by that is that they can't really spend enough time looking through all the information they could possibly find on a subject. I mean, just type in any subject that you want, even a detailed subject, you're going to find 3 million results on hi, Ann, I know you're there, but your feedback for myself. So anyway, so simply put, we're in a situation where people are now to the point where they can't research all the information that's necessary. So they're looking to experts. They're looking to web TV show hosts. They're looking to people who can summarize and bring the experts on any given subject.
Are you still getting feedback?
Yes, I am. A little bit.
Okay, hold on. Let's just take care of it.
Okay, sounds good. So in short, what they're looking for is thought leaders. They're looking for experts. They're looking for people who are show hosts to bring to bear all the information on a subject in a very concise way. Okay, and this is happening in the health industry. It's happening in the parenting industry, the business and the marketing industry, and the HR industry. It's happening in all kinds of different ways. It's happening in the entertainment field. It's happening everywhere. And you see, what's happening now is that what was talked about in 1972 by Alvin Toffler, that there'd be hundreds, if not thousands, of channels. The fact is that that's exactly what's finally happening, and now people, whoever they are, can get to any given market they want and reach that audience and effectively be in front of them on a continual basis. And simply put, that means you have the opportunity to profit. You have the opportunity to profit with sponsors. You have the opportunity to profit with your own products and services. You have the opportunity to profit with other people's products and services in your market, industry, or niche, and you can be simply the go-to person because this is something that's so prevalent. And you ultimately, in any given market, there's only one or two people who kind of dominate that market, and if you create the leading web TV show in a market first, you'll probably stay that way for a long time, and that means that you'll gain the lion's share of not only the viewership, but also the profit. So that's what today's all about, and that's what this call is about. So how are we doing there, Ann? You got did you get that worked out yet?
Well, we actually implemented this whole fancy auditory system, video system, and there are all these different things that we're connecting. So we're trying to figure out where the feedback is coming to you from, because I don't hear you on my end.
Yeah, I can hear me. I'll mute myself when you're talking. When I'm talking, I guess.
Okay. Okay. There you go.
Something like that. That'll work. So, Ann, welcome to our session here. I want everybody to actually. I'll introduce you because a lot of you guys are on this hanging out from me, and why don't you mute yourself this time? Because when I'm talking, you have to mute. That's how it works. So what we're going to do is Ann DeVere has been working for many years, focusing on getting people on on regular traditional TV shows, helping people become a show host, helping them to become almost every aspect of this business. Part of her team and her husband is an Emmy award-winning film editor. They have some of the best people in the world at helping people do almost everything around this. But ultimately, she has created a series of trainings that are focused on how to really become a web TV show host. And so therefore, there's nobody better on the planet that I know that can actually help you do this than Ann, because she knows how the traditional world works on this front, knows how to get people on those kind of shows and create those kind of shows in the offline world, if you want to call it that. And so what we want to do is we want to bring her in here to show you pretty much the 12 steps that you need to do, regardless of how you're going to advance on this, how to actually do this yourself and how to profit from it. So we'll talk a lot about that, and there's some really exciting things about why I'm even doing this and why I wanted to bring Ann on this particular session. So Ann, take it away. I got
We're tagging on the audio here. Thank you, Mark, so much. I really appreciate having this opportunity to bring all this information together, because what you do and what I do, it fits so well together with the people we serve. I'm really psyched, and I'm excited to be here to share this information. And sorry everybody about the little audio thing, but it just goes to show you technology is evolving so quickly. We're trying to keep up with it. So nothing is perfect. Jump right in there. The water's fine. You're going to have a blast with it. So as we share all this great information with you. So I guess we'll just dive right in, Mark. What do you think?
I think that sounds excellent. Why don't you go ahead and start? Matter of fact, what we're going to do is, and you got a slide presentation that's going to walk everybody through a lot of this, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's start there. That'll be good.
Okay, so I need to do something really quick here. This is an opportunity to teach on Google Hangout, by the way. That's what we're on. You actually get to arrange your slides and flip the viewers back and forth so people see the right way. How's that? You're looking better, I guess, right? Here we go.
Looks great.
You know. All right, so everybody, basically, I was listening to Mark, and he was sharing some great information. What's happening out there, it's huge. There's this whole new wave that is coming at us, basically. I mean, it's almost like a tsunami. Google Hangouts and WebTV are changing everything that's going on right now, and this is like a huge opportunity for you to make a decision right now. It's like, I'm so excited about what's happening out there. It's opportunity after opportunity. When do you hear some of the things that are in front of us right now? But this is the time where either you can basically ride the wave or get swept away or get swept under by the wave. It's pretty much where it's at. And what Mark and I are doing is we're giving you all the information so you can totally ride the wave to wherever it is that you want to go. So to put things in perspective, what we want you to know is that Google Hangouts, it's a broadcasting platform. That's what it is. It's a broadcasting platform just like any other broadcasting platform that all the TV networks are using. So now think about that. There's a lot of power right at your fingertips for free, mind you. It's like, at least for now it is anyways. So people are actually taking advantage of it. Some of the early adapters are taking full advantage of it because it's really out there for the taking, and there are really no regulations right now, as far as how you can broadcast, on Google Hangout, because it is web TV. So we don't have all those things standing in the way. So people are jumping in, and there's cooking shows, and there are bands actually broadcasting literally from their garages and going global with it. I mean, think about it. It's like, how many businesses have launched from garages in the U.S.? You know a few of them. I don't have to dive into them. But take a look at who else is taking advantage of it. We're talking about the President and the First Lady of the United States are both doing Hangouts to connect with their people. Now, so what does this tell you? It's like it's open for everybody. That means it's open for you. Now, here's where I want you to really start thinking about it. If it's open for everybody, everything's, right there for the taking. So what are some of the things that are standing in the way? So our intention here is to literally take away anything that's standing in the way of you taking advantage of what's fully in front of you right now, because this is web TV. It's TV, so the power of TV is right at your fingertips. So let's see what's standing in your way. And I have found that, with the people we've been working with, as Mark said, we've been doing this for a while. Basically, three main barriers to success with TV are yeah, but there are a few, but three main ones are really standing out. So the very first one is drum roll. Okay, it's are you afraid of looking or sounding bad or unprofessional on camera? This is one of the major fears that comes up. Another one is people think that it will cost too much money to produce videos. And the third one is they don't know what to do with the videos. They don't know how to market with videos. Well, guess what? There is a solution to all three of them. And we're going to walk you through the process right now where you're going to feel like, hey, I can do that. We're going to eliminate things that are standing in your way, because most of this is just knowledge. Most of this is just acquired knowledge, and it's learned. You can easily learn what to do with each one. So, Mark, I know I'm ready to go. I'm sitting over here excited about this. I know you are, so let's jump right into it. What do you think?
Well,
so we're going to be sharing.
That's really good. Let me think about this. Just let me say a couple things here. Ultimately, I want to tell you why I'm so excited about this. Right before Ann was talking about this opportunity, I want to tell you the reason why I'm personally excited about this and why I want you to see this presentation. As most of you know, I'm in the strategic partnering business, and I have the ability to bring my clients to pretty much whoever they want to be brought to. And as you'll find out from Ann pretty soon, we're talking about some amazing opportunities where they need and want show host and content for all these different things that are going on here. And therefore, me and my partners and any future partners I have, hopefully like you in this area, I would love to be able to take your show and literally promote it to the world. That's how I make a lot of the money that I make, is by bringing these kind of deals together. So, and we'll talk more about that later, but that's why I'm so excited about this. But there's one catch, and that is you have to have a quality content web TV show for me to do that. I can't bring it to the kind of partners that I want to be able to bring that unless that's the case. So if you pay attention here, as she starts going through these, in a few minutes she'll be starting to go through the 12 major steps that you need to do. Take great notes and realize that Ann's got the answers to these questions, and later on we can even answer those for you if we need to. But that's what I want you to understand of the background of it. So go ahead, Ann.
Okay, so actually, Mark, I'm glad you brought that up, because everybody really do take copious notes and write down some questions, because at the end of this, you're going to have an opportunity to jump on and we'll answer some of your questions. We'll do like on-the-spot laser coaching. So get ready, get excited about it. You have a huge opportunity to be coached by Mark and me at the same time. Come on. Okay, so let's I'm going to roll right back into my split screen. And by the way, what I'm doing here with the fancy screen, you can do this too. I mean, this is, available to you. This is part of the production area, so you'll see that in a second. So I'm going to go back into split screen so you can see me as well as the content that's on the screen. So what I want to do is talk with you about the 3 misconceptions. I kind of talked about the what's standing in people's ways, the fears. Well, those are also misconceptions. Here's what I keep hearing. It takes many years of costly training and practice to look and sound professional on camera. It could. A lot of the people, I'm in Hollywood, everybody, it's loaded with the most beautiful waiters and waitresses. They're practicing their art for many, many years. Well, it doesn't have to. We have been working with the expert next door for over 8 years, like Mark was saying. My husband's been in television for over 30 years. I've been working with the business owner, the small business owner, for over 25 years. I've been in a corporate, so we understand the big company as well as the small company, and we're able to take all the strategies that work in the big TV industry and in big business marketing and scale it down for the business owner. That's where our heart is. That's really where our heart is. That's where I love to be. So the information we're sharing with you, it's really easy. You don't have to have many years of practice, because we have actually fine-tuned the system of walking you through the process where you are looking and sounding comfortable and confident. And let me tell you what the secret is: being yourself. Being your authentic self. So it's just a matter of us getting you to be comfortable in front of the camera, and the real you just shines through, and people connect with you, and it just magic happens. So we can definitely take care of that. And yeah, you do need media training, but it doesn't take years and years and a lot of practice and a lot of money. Okay? So feel better? All right. So now we're going to go on to the next one. Well, you know what? Let me tell you just what's in there, to feel better. So you have to step into what we call a celebrity mindset. It's about feeling good about you being visible to the world. And you can actually feel good instead of scary. Trust me on that. I know what that feels like. And then becoming your magnetic self. And there's nothing more magnetic than a person.
Something real quick about that celebrity mindset. I know we don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but ultimately, the number one fear they claim is the fear of public speaking. And ultimately, this is public speaking on steroids, because not only are you going to be you could be in front of lots of more people than you could possibly be maybe in person. And then secondly, you got this challenge because people are going to be seeing you in a video that may last forever, right? You can have people watching this for who knows how many years or decades even. So it's a big fear factor involved with people, but there's lots of secrets that the celebrities have learned. I mean, I know you're based out of Hollywood over there, and therefore Ann trains her people how to do that, and you can find this information too and actually do it yourself. But the bottom line is that you need to put yourself in that celebrity mindset, because if you do, you're really serving the audience, and you can easily get rid of all those fears and at the same time serve them in an amazing way, and at the same time serve yourself, because that same celebrity mindset actually positions you as a celebrity in front of your audience in a way that's really not possible any other way. So go ahead, Adam. Go ahead, Adam.
Awesome. Well, well put, Mark, because that's yeah, I couldn't have said it any better. Thank you for that. It is huge. It is getting out there in a public, and in a good way. It can actually be a lot of fun. Now, the next part in the misconception about takes many years, it does not. It's basically your magnetic self. I kind of touched on that. It's really being your authentic self, getting to a place where you're feeling really good about yourself and being comfortable. And then finally, it's knowing how to say what you want to say. And guess what? It doesn't have to be perfect either. You just need to know how to grab people's attention with something special, and then give them some great information like Mark and I are doing. It's a very comfortable. It's not like totally scripted. You just have to have a good idea of what you want to say, share information. And let me tell you, I know you're doing this every day. Every time you sit across somebody, you tell them who you are, what you do, and they ask you questions, you interact. You already know all this. It's just a matter of knowing how to structure it so you can speak in sound bites, like what to say in 1 minute, what to say in 2 minutes. It's just putting a container about the information you're already delivering. Doable? Absolutely. So are you getting this? You can do this. You just have to know the perimeters, and that's what we've put together. Okay, so now the next thing, and that, by the way, is the first part of the entire program. Getting ready for it. So the next thing we want to look at is getting on a set. So to prepare to get out there and turn your videos, turn your shows, turn your interviews into cash, and that's the bottom line in this, right? You're getting out there, you're creating videos because you want to monetize it. So that means you have to create videos, right? So creating videos, what does it take? A lot of people think it takes a lot of expensive equipment, and it takes a professional crew to produce quality videos. Well, it could. It absolutely could. You can spend tens of thousands of dollars, and a lot of people have, but you don't have to. You can start wherever you are right now. Okay. Now, we recommend you getting some, great equipment and making sure you're producing good quality videos, because that's what people want to see and that's what gets noticed. But how to get to that point is the question here. You start where you are. I mean, you can literally start with only a few $100 investment into your own studio with a webcam and some lights and get going from there. And if you're going to be just only on Google Hangouts just to start with, it's a great place to start, because there's all kinds of things you can do with it to look and sound absolutely fabulous. So no, it doesn't have to take many years and huge production crews and a lot of expensive equipment. So you just got to get out there. You need to know how to produce your video. Producing a video right now. Mark and I are producing a TV show right now. How cool is that? Yes, it's a web TV show. And then you need to know how to broadcast your videos, right? Well, guess what? We're broadcasting it right now through Google Hangouts. So what I'm saying to you is that you have everything you need right now to be able to get your message out there. Okay? Are you feeling a little bit better, I hope?
Yeah, I think so. And one thing I'd like to just say about all that is this, is that while you can, start really easy, so do not ever use cost as a barrier for you to start tapping into the web TV revolution. You will absolutely be kicking yourself for the next decade if you miss out on that. But more importantly, and it's definitely not for money and because you can get in fairly inexpensively. Now, ultimately, if you're doing a web TV show and you're doing them on a weekly basis or as often as you'd want to do that, there's going to be higher level equipment that you're going to want to get, and you're going to be having a team and your producer people and things like that to make it because you'll be making a lot of money doing it, right? But the thing is that the difference between the two is minimal, and really the only time you really need the other equipment is when you first have the audience that you've built, or you have a team that's actually doing stuff for you, and at that point, which is your goal, right, is that you should get to show up, right? You get to show up as the expert authority, as the TV show host, and everything else is simply taken care of for you. And so that's the ultimate goal. But in this case, the beautifulness of the whole system is that you can start with very little and go as big as you want to go, and actually take over in a market leadership way, and as you go, add to it the level of complexity that you need. So while Ann is, obviously telling you that you can start small. The fact is, a number of you who maybe are more sophisticated realize that to do this right and to have it be a solid business model, it's going to take a lot more than just maybe some inexpensive cameras and some things like that. The fact is, you're going to want to make sure that you realize that you can go there, but you can start small and at the same time grow as big as you need to big, and scale it as your show grows. The key is first mover advantage, though. Is that by just getting started, you're going to be far advanced more than most other people in your market for sure. So go ahead, Ed.
Yes, no, absolutely, Mark. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to be looking at is, your mindset on how you're going to show up. Like Mark was saying, get started somewhere. Right now, with some simple equipment, you can get on YouTube and look like that guy right there. You can be a talking head, or you can show up, like that picture right there. That's me with two of my guests, literally using the same equipment that I'm using right now, and it's the presentation. You can easily put two people next to you, and as opposed to standing in front of the camera yourself and getting your head right in the camera. It's knowing where to sit, it's knowing how to sit, it's knowing what to do, it's knowing how to use it, and that's one of the things. I always say, put a paintbrush in my hand, I'll paint a wall. Put a paintbrush in an artist's hand, and they will paint a masterpiece. And that's what we're talking about here, how to use the tools. And it's easily learned. Again, this is not rocket science. And here's something else, too, about doing things the way we're talking about. You have choices. Doing video can actually free you. It can give you a lot of freedom. You can broadcast live, like exactly the way Mark and I are doing right now, and you can also take a pre-recorded video. We can take this same video and we can rebroadcast it. Think about it. The recording can do this training for us. We don't have to be there. So you have that choice as well. So you can start doing some of the things you've been putting off. Maybe picking up a sport, or maybe something you haven't had a chance to play in a while, hanging out at the country club, or maybe you want to go to your kids' ball games, spend more time with your family that a lot of us don't do because we have all these obligations, or maybe taking time and cruising the world, going around. You can be broadcasting your show globally, or you can just rest up and do what you want to do.
Yeah, let me say something about that real quick. I don't know if you know how important it is to be able to pre-record. Most of the great TV shows, regular TV shows, are pre-recorded. Sometimes in front of a live studio audience, but they're pre-recorded before they're actually broadcast. And the flexibility of being able to have the recording being separate done for when they're broadcast is a huge benefit. Even though it's appearing as live, or it's scheduled at a certain time live, the fact is that you can do it. You can allow yourself, when it comes to only experts that are available at a certain time. There's all kinds of great things you can do. Plus, you have the duplicatability. I'll give you an example. When I started doing teleseminars nearly a decade ago, as an example, I had certain teleseminars where we'd be making, anywhere from $20,000 to $40,000 a week on the same teleseminar that we actually had going out, every single week. It was the same exact one. I recorded it actually several times. What I mean by that is, I recorded it once, and then I modified it and tweaked it and made it better and better and better until it was perfect. But then I actually had these done, and it created a situation where I could have different audiences seeing that at different times, first to them as new. And so the value becomes is when you can create a show which allows you to get a message out to these people at the right time and place. Now you can create a situation where you're free to enjoy the time you want to enjoy, while at the same time you can bring in guests at the time they're available. And of course then you can actually air it live when the actual audience has got the best time for them to be able to watch it. So those are three different things going on there simultaneously that pre-recording allows you to do. First, you can make the message exactly what you want and have it be consistent. Secondly, the guests or people involved can actually schedule it when they're actually available. And third, the audience can see it at the best time for them, even if all three of them don't really match normally. So anyway, I just want to tell everybody the importance of that. Go ahead, Ann.
Yeah, actually, Mark, you touched on a great point. Like in the beginning, we see this happening all the time in traditional TV. We watch replays over and over again. You know, and as a matter of fact, in part of like the some of our shows, they're producing their shows. What they're doing is in one day, and this is traditional TV. Everybody does it. Oprah does it. They get in a studio in one day. They will shoot 4 or 5 different segments, and you know, and they're set for the week or they're set for the month, depending on how often it's airing. So again, it's a lot of freedom. And then following what Mark was just telling you, all the different ways you can broadcast it. Yeah, it's doable. Everybody does it, and so can you. You just have to, you know, remember, this is really, you know, web TV. If you start in that perspective, there's all kinds of things you can do to leverage it. So now the third portion of this, the third misconception, it's about monetization. It's about getting paid. So a lot of people think, well, if I, you know, all I have to do is get on LinkedIn and get on YouTube and I'll get all these new clients. Well, yes, you can, but there's a lot more that you can do to monetize, okay? If you just post a video on YouTube, great, some people might see it, but you need to do a lot more with it. You need a plan, okay? How are you going to turn your show into cash? You need to know, what do you want to make? What do you want to showcase in your shows? How are you going to be using this? How much money do you want? All these things need to be considered, because here's bottom line is that any TV show that gets on a network, trust me, they're taking that show, sitting down, writing everything out. Where is this going to go? Who are the sponsors? How are we going to make the money? How long is it going to last? How much is it going to cost? Every aspect of it is already calculated. So when you start coming from that perspective and say, well, how much money do I want to make with my show? A lot of questions are answered, and a lot of money is going to come from what you showcase on your show. And we're gonna dive into that in just a second. But monetization is a huge part of it. So you need to get it out there on multiple channels. Where do they go? And there's also co-op marketing, and I'm going to tell you what that is in a minute. That's basically having a group of people that are going to be marketing with you because you're supporting each other. So you don't have to do this alone. The people are jumping all over trying to get on TV, and as soon as you know how to explain what you're doing the right way, people are going to say yes, you know, right away, no challenges, no barriers. So I hope you're feeling a lot more comfortable about stepping up, getting into it, and getting excited that having a TV show is not a burden. It's actually not only exciting, but it can be very lucrative. So now, let's get you, I want to give you a little bit more about how you're going to be monetizing it.
Let me say one thing real quick about that. Just I wanted to say that I want everybody to realize that now Ann's going to walk you through a lot of how to do this. There's all kinds of ways of obviously making this monetizing work and things, but there's 3 parts to that, right? You have bringing on guests, which is fairly easy, so that'll be an easy approach. But then there's bringing on, we'll call it sponsors, people some way, some form are going to pay you to participate. But then also there's marketing about getting an audience, and I want you to focus on that one first, because ultimately, if you don't actually have an audience, if you don't market to an audience and get those audience to have viewers, you don't have a show. So ultimately, you got to understand that those 3 aspects of marketing are so critical, and Ann's going to walk you through as much as she can tonight on this particular on how to actually do that and some of the best approaches to actually make that work. So if you understand that, you will be far ahead of the game in getting out to your marketplace on that. So go ahead, Ann.
Okay, so basically going back, I just wanted you to know there are a lot of people watching videos right now. In one day, today, 89 million people are going to be watching 1.2 billion videos. It's actually more than that. We can't even keep up with the numbers because it's growing like by the minute, you know, practically. And it's all over between YouTube and Google Hangout and then Facebook and of course, you know, mobile devices. Everybody's using them more and more. And there's you know, traditional TV, and then there's all kinds of different web TV shows that are coming out. There are video blogs. So you name it, people are out there, and you can use the same video on multiple channels at the same time. Well, here's something else. You have a good show, it is needed. Right now there is a shortage of good content, like Mark was saying. I can tell you that some of the videos that we put out there, some of our Access to Experts interviews, and one of them actually happens to be Mark, that we took him into the studio a few years ago. People are watching it. I had I had distribution channels approach me. They basically said, look, we're looking for really good content, and can we put your shows on our network? And guess what their circulation is? 200 million viewers monthly. Okay, that's the distribution channel, and some of it actually includes the videos that you see, interviews that you see, and different kinds of discussions, fun stuff you see at the airports. Until now, CNN had the monopoly on it. Well, not anymore. So people that we're training, our shows, so people who are providing this great information, they can be there. You can be at the airports while people are sitting there watching. You could be sitting next to them as you're watching yourself. How cool is that? Anyways, that's what's happening. So we have access to 200 million. Yes.
Yeah,
go ahead.
So let's talk about it. I want to put that in perspective, because if you only could look at one slide, I'm going to put Ann back on just for a second while I'm talking here. I want you to look at that one slide that's right to the left of her right now, and that slide is showing you how much content opportunity is available to you. Okay, they need it, they want it, they desire it. And let me ask you a question: if you could have a TV show on one channel on cable, okay, the chances of somebody seeing that at that particular time and place are slim overall, okay. But you know what? That the people who are in some of these audiences are captive audiences. Think about the airports as an example. There's not like multiple channels. The people can't switch the channels. There's one channel, and we have the ability to plug you into these channels, which means you're the sole content for these things, which means if you can create the great content, if you have the great message that can be for different audiences, it doesn't have to be airports. That may be great for business people, but terrible for, say, weight loss or something. I don't know. But you understand the concept. The fact is that there are literally hundreds and thousands of these channels out there that we want to be able to tap you into. This is the next phase of the media. The media is now going very decentralized, because literally everybody wants to focus on things that are more from their own angle, from their own perspective, from their own niche, for the things that are important to them. And therefore, you can be in there if you simply remember that one thing right now. This is the opportunity overall. This is really the opportunity, and you need to really remember that. So go ahead, Ann.
Awesome. Well said. Okay. Now, I'm getting excited about getting my show out there even faster. Another show. Okay. Now, here's the bottom line. I just want to kind of sum it up. What does it take to produce a web TV show, and most importantly, to turn it into cash? It takes the trifecta system. I already showed you a little bit of it. It takes getting ready. You have to get ready. You have to get on the set that's producing the videos, and you have to get paid. All these components have to be there. Now, let me show you what happens if all three are not planned ahead of time. So what happens if you actually, I'm going to go full screen with this so you can see this clearly. I want this really to hit home. So what happens if you do only 2 out of 3, okay? So what happens if you only, let's say, if you only get ready and get on the set? Get ready, that means, you're looking and sounding great on camera, you know exactly what to say, you're prepared, and you actually get over there and you produce your video, but then you don't have your marketing, monetization component in place. What happens then? You're going to be wasting a lot of time and money, and I can tell you there are a lot of people who have spent a lot of money on videos and they're sitting on their shelves or they're sitting on their computer and nothing is happening. So it's a waste of time and money. So what happens if you get ready and you go out there and you make money with it? Well, a lot of you are doing that right now. You are really good at what you do. You're out there making the connections and you're out there getting your clients. And so far it's working really well, but you know what's going to happen? Pretty soon you're going to be outdated, because other people are jumping on and they're using videos. So if you're not using videos, if you just are really good at what you do and you're getting clients without using videos, it's going to be harder and harder for you to get those great clients. Now, what if you get on a set and you get paid without taking the time to really get ready? Well, a lot of people are doing that right now, and you've seen pretty good examples of that. If you don't take time to get ready, and really show up and set things in motion, look and sound great, and have everything set, you're going to be damaging your credibility. And you have seen some people, some of the great information that's delivered is bad video, and maybe the backgrounds look unprofessional. A lot of them I've seen, you probably have seen, they got the bathroom door open with the toilet showing or something like that. While the information is good, we're not focusing on it, and people are getting more sophisticated here. People are getting a lot more sophisticated, and you can easily produce a really good TV show. So bottom line is you need to get ready, you need to get on the set, and you need to have the get paid component in place. And this can be very, very fun and lucrative for you. And these are just some of the, we've been doing this for a while, okay? You may recognize some of these people in there. I can tell you that what we're showing you really, really works, and it's a lot of fun to do, and it's easy to do. We got the system down, and so what's happening, let me see. I don't think you can even see the pictures, but, you would recognize a lot of them once you see them. Now,
well, one thing I want to just say real quick is,
go ahead.
Okay, just say one thing.
Okay.
The one thing I wanted to just say real quick is that, so if you can keep those 3 things in mind, it's a simple way to look at all 12 steps. Okay, ultimately you have these 3 steps that ultimately break down everything that you're going to be doing. And so if you can keep those 3 in your head, get ready, get on the set, and get paid, and you can do all 3 of them, you'll keep your mind focused on what things you need to do. Most people can't keep that many things in their mind at one time, but those 3 things you can simply keep in your mind. Now what I want Ann to do, and she's going to do next, is going to go through those things in more detail so you know how to actually get them done for what you need to do to make an outstanding, profitable show. So go ahead, Ann.
Yeah, Mark, what I thought would be really good is to use the example of how you used your video to get ready, get on the set, and actually get paid. So can we go through the example? I have your testimonial that I love showing people because you're just so good at this.
Sure. Well, what actually happened was, maybe, I don't know, it's been at least it's probably 4 years. It says there, I think, 3 years, but it's actually been more like 4 years or so, maybe even longer. What happened was we did a video interview, okay, and with that video interview we posted on YouTube. And when we did that, what we were able to do is reach the #1 spot in YouTube, and there's a couple reasons why. Because the power of interviews in YouTube is huge, because they actually look at those interviews as a credible source. And contrary to popular belief, believe it or not, when Google actually looks at a key term that they have the top maybe 10 listings for, whether it be on YouTube or on Google, they actually have real people going in there and seeing the real quality of the rankings. Okay, and so what happens there is that allowed us, because we're talking about a high quality interview on a talk show that Ann helped us produce, that basically allowed us to stay and dominate that keyword for years. And so what's really important there is not only for you to do the same thing, but more importantly, when you're a talk show host, that means that every interview you do can now be ranking for all kinds of different terms for almost any niche, sub-niche, cross-niche, connected niche that you could ever imagine in your market, industry, or niche. So if you think about it in that way, creating a web TV show allows you to dominate all these different keywords in so many different places throughout the internet. And that's really the power of what we're talking about, the power of interviews, the power of web TV. Web TV, in this case, if you decide to do a web TV show that's where you're maybe a web TV show host, which is usually the case in the business realm if you're doing this for business purposes, and even for non-business purposes. And so what happens is you get some really amazing results in that way. So it's worked for me, and I know it can work for you too, in a really even a bigger way as you do start doing these. And my goal then, of course, is to create partners who can be sponsoring partners for you. My goal is to get you into get great experts to be on your show, right? To get people to have these shows aired in all kinds of different places, on all kinds of different, on different websites, web properties, as well as online and offline. So that's really what we're talking about, because the web TV really is becoming just TV. And so therefore what's actually happening is that it's really the future of media. So it's really important. It's really important.
Yeah. So with the example Mark just gave, you can dominate. You can dominate not only YouTube but internet. Basically, that's the bottom line. But there's more you can do with your web TV. Now, this is Kyriakousis that's coming on. He actually came into our program a couple of years ago, and just 2-day training. He went through the process of learning how to look and sound great on camera. Okay. Next thing we know, he's all over. He's all over Fox. He's all over NBC, doing what he does. I mean, he was good at what he does. All we did was show him how we can take the information and get out there in a way that makes sense to monetize it. He's being interviewed all over. I mean, he was commentator when the president was talking. So again, he was good at what he does, just knowing how to use it. As a matter of fact, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and play this video that he wrote.
And I'm the best-selling author, How to Succeed When Everybody's.
And I think it's being muted because you can't mute yourself on Google, but you can mute your microphone. There you go.
Do that by doing Ann DeVere's program.
Is it okay now?
Yes.
If you're afraid of being on camera, you're thinking that you can't do this. I have to tell you, I watched her take a group of 12 people that had absolutely zero experience in front of a camera. Some were afraid, some were shut down. She turned them into experts on camera. She did it in 2 days. The entire take takes a few minutes afterwards. You're a professional. You come out and you've got video footage and you're ready to go. It's an unbelievable program. It's a must. You want to separate yourself. You want to become an expert instantly. You want people to want to hire you. You want to be on television. You want to be so polished, so well trained on the camera. You're invited on a television show to be a guest. And I want you to come back over and over and over again. Even if you've never had any experience whatsoever, this is the program I recommend. Ann DeVere is great. She's loving, she's caring, and she works through all the little pieces that you need to know to become an expert on camera. I highly recommend Ann DeVere. She's great. I love her. She's got a great staff. Jardina St. John is beautiful to work with. The entire crew.
I'm just going to go ahead and interrupt that. I wanted you to listen to that not because we want to bring you into the studio and do all the interviews and things right now. We wanted you to know that we have literally cracked the code on how to take the expert next door and get them feeling and sounding absolutely fabulous on camera. In other words, being themselves. Okay, so that's what I wanted you to know about. So this is where I hope we got everybody excited about this so far. So now we're going to go into how to do all this, right, Mark? Okay.
You got it. It sounds really exciting. In fact, what's really exciting about that last thing is that because you know all aspects of how to get people as experts on shows, you know how to get people to be show hosts. You know how to get the exposure for these. I mean, you have actually a complete way of doing this. But just want to let you guys all know from my perspective, I don't want you necessarily to necessarily buy into to Ann being the one who helps you do all this. Okay, what I want you to do is buy into the idea that web TV is the future, and that if it makes sense to you, if it makes sense for you when you have a message, to create a web TV show, okay? And that's if it's in business, then you're talking about a web TV show that may be more talk show. It may be more focusing on latest news in an industry or market or niche. It could be interviews. It could be all kinds of great things. And we'll talk about. She's going to talk about formats in a minute here. But the first thing I need you to see is the value of doing this. And I think you can see the value of doing this. And of course, what you're going to learn for the rest of this today is going to really help you to catapult that in a big way. If you create a web TV show, you're going to have like 3 options. One is you can figure this stuff out yourself and spend the next maybe couple of years getting going. Okay. And another possibility is you can find all the different pieces and parts to make something like that happen. okay, and maybe find other people who can teach you how to do all that stuff, okay, and that will cost you a lot of money, and you may or may not get it right and choose the right people. The third one, though, is you can also choose maybe Ann to help walk you through all this, which will jumpstart everything and help you do it, if that makes sense to you. But no matter what you do, okay, is that even if you decide to do it yourself, you're going to need to know these 12 things. And you're going to need to know how they fit and how to do them, and specifically why they're so important. If you don't do these 12 things, you might as well, I wouldn't say forget being successful, because maybe accidents can happen. But other than that, you are going to maximize your chances for success by watching these 12 critical, important points. Matter of fact, each one of these things is a whole training module in her programs because they're so important. So go ahead, Ann, take it away.
Okay, so like Mark was saying, it's about the mindset. We just want you to get to the place where you can do this yourself, and that's what the purpose of this is. Whatever you do, wherever you start. So the first thing we want you to know is that this is the gold rush for web TV. Seriously, this is it. Like traditional TV has dominated everything. Now think about it. Well, who is the go-to show host on traditional TV? Everybody knows the answer to this. Oprah. Dr. Oz. Okay, so we know who they are. Now the same question comes up. Who is the go-to show host on web TV? Silence. Nobody. Who is the go-to show host in health and wellness on web TV? Nobody. It can be you. And that's what's so exciting about this. Okay, so you get out there, claim your territory, claim your title as the go-to show host right now, because it is open for for the taking. Like I was saying earlier, there are no regulations right now that are really going to be constricting you. So it's wide open. Go for it. When the gold rush first started, people used to walk down the street and pick up gold nuggets. And you can't find gold nuggets on the street in California anymore, trust me. But they used to be able to do that many years ago. And so basically, it's about you stepping into it and getting in there, making the decision. You're going to take a step up. So what I want to share with you is that to produce your show, there are certain things you have to do. What do you need to do to produce your show? Well, you need to identify your authentic style. What is the show? What is going to be the feeling of the show? It depends on you. Then the other thing you need to take a look at is the formatting of your show. And I'm going to tell you in just a second, I'm going to give you some examples where you're going to make choices. And the other thing you need to take a look at is, what is your most profitable product? What do you want to showcase on your show? What do you want to talk about? So you're giving great information, people find out about you, and you build your audience, but you also build trust for you long term, so they want you after the show. And of course, you need to identify your most profitable audience. Who is it that you really want to serve? Who are you meant to serve? Who's going to benefit most by you? Those are the people that you are going to feel good about helping, and those are the people are going to feel great about seeing you every day, because they're getting something from every episode that they watch. And finally, who are your ideal guest experts? And I'm going to give you a whole layout on that, an easy way for you to figure out who they are. So let's get to it. Okay.
Wait, one quick little point there, and one quick little point.
Yes.
I want to say one thing. And that is, some of you may realize that one of the most powerful mechanisms to getting your information out to the world, recently, our mutual friend Mike Koenig's launched Traffic Geyser 2.0 and some of the other things that went along with that. But if you notice that whole angle, it took something and then added it to social, and added to social bookmarks, and created it into podcast, and turned it into all these different things, right? Which literally covered 80% of the internet, actually 80% of the known world, through these different methods, including mobile and all these other different types of broadcasting, the mechanism your information out there. Do you know, out of that entire process, he's created it such that it starts with one thing, and that was a video. So when you're done with any kind of expert interview, any type of show, you can literally take platforms like that and other ones that will multiply it and duplicate it out to the entire world in lots of different places, starting with this number one modality. So I just want to tell you that, because the value of you starting in this one area is absolutely essential, because it's the one thing that can lead to almost all the others that are going on the internet. So, and it's the number one modality, because it's got the visual, it's got the audio, it's got everything, it's got interactivity, it's got what everybody needs. So anyway, go ahead, Ann.
Yes. So now, if you're going to put the video out there, you have to decide the format, right? So whether you're going to have a solo host, you're going to be the solo host, or you're going to have a co-host, or you're going to have a panel discussion, is up to you. It all depends on your personality. Each one of these have their pros and cons. So the solo host, you're the boss. You can do anything you want. That's the good news. Solo host, the bad news is you're the boss. You have to do everything, and it could be a little bit difficult at times. So usually I recommend people start with the co-host, even if it's a weekly co-host. This way you have somebody else to interact with. It makes it a lot more fun. Like Mark and I are interacting, making different points, and our point of view is different, and how we interact, what we say, it just makes it a lot more fun. So I always recommend consider a co-host. Now the panel shows, like The View, The Doctors, you see a lot of these. It's a panel discussion with 4 or 5 people, or you could even have 3 people, but it's different discussions are going on, and it could be really good, because if you don't show up, you're traveling a lot, the show goes on without you, it's fine. But then the thing that makes this a little bit difficult, you have a bunch of people that you have to actually interact with, you have to make decisions with. So it's great if you have the right combination. So if you're just starting, I recommend you getting a co-host, starting like a weekly co-host until you find the perfect partner. So I hope this is going to get your wheels turning as to how you're going to go about doing it. It depends on your personality, depends on the money you have to spend on the production of your show, and the time you have available. Those are the 3 things you want to consider. So the other thing that I want to share with you, just to get you started, just to get you thinking, it's an example for, let's say if you're putting together a health and wellness show. And by the way, you can use this for business growth, finance, money management, for nonprofits. Makes no difference. The 30-minute format is good, so I just want to give you a template, if you will, to start with. You always want to start your show with a 1-minute intro. You want to talk about what's going to be on the show. Think traditional TV, think traditional television. Okay, so you can be doing on-location interviews. If it's a health and wellness show, you could be at the gym. Okay, if it's a business show, you could be maybe at a seminar, or you could be in a business office of sorts. So you can be interviewing other experts. And then finally, you need a little break there, don't you? 30-second video tips work great, whether they're your video tips or some video tips you can get from your sponsors or from your affiliates. So it's great to interrupt and give some great content, and then move on to the next segment of your show, which is, at this point, you can be doing a product demonstration, or you can be doing some kind of an exercise, or, so anything that gets people, moving and doing something on their own, so they're getting value, whether it's a written exercise or whether it's a physical exercise, anything that you can do. So that's the second part. Okay, then you go again with the 30-second video tip. And a lot of times the 30-second video tip could be of the next episode that's coming, or some unrelated, to the next episode. Like I said, it could be from your sponsors. And finally, you come back with a third, 9-minute segment, or it could be 8-minute segment, and it could be like maybe the top 10 questions people have been asking you. They're posting on your Facebook, or it could be that, you're taking live questions from the audience. So there's so many ways you can go. It is a lot of opportunity, and this is not the end all, by the way. It's just an idea for you to get started. And I have about 60-70 different ways that we have put together, different ways to format a show. So you can have a different show every single one with the 30-minute format. There's all kinds of ways, different combinations, and then again you have a 1-minute wrap up of what you just talked about, and then maybe you give a teaser about some of the other shows that are coming up. So between formatting your show and knowing how to, what to do, and who your co-hosts are going to be, you already have a lot more information than most people out there just between these two. So I do want to. Yeah. Okay.
I was just thinking, it's really important for everybody to realize that what Ann didn't just say, because what she said was brilliant for, in this case, the health and wellness niche, for people who have products to demonstrate and people who have tips and all that stuff. What I want you to understand is that when it comes to thought leadership, experts, co-hosts, or show hosts and things like this, you're in a situation where, you need to create almost a unique show for yourself. Ann has worked with 60 different templates, like she just mentioned, that work. They've actually worked for different types of people. But one size absolutely doesn't fit all here, and it all depends on how you monetizing this. What your style is, what expertise you're in, what industry you're in. How are you going to get experts on? Are you going to have experts? Are you going to how are you going to monetize it? Do you have your own products, or is it going to be somebody else's products, or are they going to be a combination of both? So you have to take into consideration many factors that when you walk through them, you can create your own blueprint that's necessary for your show. And when you do that, you're going to find that it's going to be working for your industry in your situation with all of the different factors that go into your final plan. If you don't do that, if you don't have somebody walking you through that, you're going to end up making maybe some of the bad decisions because there's a lot of things that don't work. And didn't tell you about like the several dozen things that have been tried and don't work. But you know what? Because you can work with somebody who's worked in those situations, you'll find yourself in a situation where you can find out what those things are without having to learn from bad experience in that way. But more importantly, you need to think this through in more of a, this has got to be planned out. It's not hard, but you do have to walk through it and consider all these factors in advance and walk through a kind of a template creation process. But that's an important little point I wanted to bring up. So go ahead, Ann.
Yeah. No, great point, Mark, because it is not hard. It really, if you know what to do, like anything else, if you know what to do, it's not hard. And when somebody has already made the mistakes, we know the pitfalls, we can point it out to you, it makes it a lot easier. So again, in this time together, Mark and I wanted you to know what the possibilities were, what you can do, what you really have at your fingertips right now, so you can take advantage of it. And and having said that, we do have to warn you that there are pitfalls, and people have made mistakes, but when you're being guided, it's pretty easy to avoid them. So now here's the other part that a lot of people are like, well, who am I going to have on my show? What should I do? So what I thought I would do is give you an example of an industry that everybody is familiar with. I don't care who you are, either you've been married, you've gone to weddings, family members gotten married, somehow, some way, you know what happens at a wedding. So I thought, let's see, who supports this bride and groom on that one very special day? It's just one day. How many different industries are there to support them? So it gets pretty cool. Actually, I'm going to go full screen with this because I want you to really see what the possibilities are. Okay, so the first thing is, again, we're going to, in just one day, it's the wedding industry. So to get married, they can have a wedding planner, right? Makes things a lot easier. Okay, who else can support them? The videographer. You need videos of the beautiful day. How about the photographer? You can't do it without those. And what about the jeweler? This whole thing doesn't get started without a wedding ring or the engagement ring. Now, the jeweler definitely plays a big part. Okay, invitation vendors. People need to know how to get to you. And, of course, the limousine drivers, you got to show up in style, okay? Reception halls. You got to have that great party, right? You got to. The baker. Let's not forget the wedding cake. You got to have a great wedding cake. The caterer, great food goes with it, of course. How about the florist? You got to have the beautiful bouquet, you got to. And of course, the bridal shop. What's a bride without a beautiful wedding dress, right? And then finally, you got to go on the honeymoon. The travel agency has to come in there. Now, this is just for one day. Look at how many different industries can be involved with this one day. So if somebody is, let's say, a wedding planner, all they have to do is contact each one of these people in these industries, and they can have this ongoing show for years, because in each industry they can have all these different experts, all these different jewelers, all the different bakers, there's ongoing conversation. So who are your, who does your audience need to be supported by to be successful? That's the question you want to ask. Then you say, where do they go before and after you? You need to look upstream, downstream from you, and then you'll have your answer. So think about it. There you go. If you don't know how you're going to format your show, and you're going to know how you're going to, what it's going to be. Are you going to be a solo host? You're going to have a co-host, and what the format of your show is going to be, and the guest you're going to have. Come on, you have a show here. You can do this. You can definitely do this. So let's see. Oh, we're on roll here, Mark. Let's see.
Before,
Okay,
yeah, one little quick thought about that is that just think now how long you can actually create this show and how relevant you can make it on a continual basis, bringing not only great experts on there. I mean, you could technically, you didn't even mention tuxedos. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that you didn't even mention. But the fact is that if you actually were to literally do almost one a week, you'd actually can come back and go do that over and over and again for years, right, without ever running really out of people or even different shops or whatever in a local area or even a national basis. But just think, each one of those could actually, if you're producing them, you could create a reciprocal deal where they promote also your actual show. Which means if somebody is at a bridal shop and they want to know all about the other stuff that goes on at in a thing, they can send them to your show. Because for maybe 6 months to a year, they're watching that show, learning about the latest and greatest dresses, the latest and greatest catering ideas and party favors and places to do or whatever it is, or tips and so just think of how that could work. And remember, these weddings are big money. That's just a wedding thing. Of course, most of you guys aren't in that business, but you understand the same exact thing can happen in your industry, and you could create some joint venture partnerships that really will promote every aspect of this business into the future and making, of course, lots of money and having lots of viewers on a continual basis. The bad thing with weddings is, of course, once you've done it, it's over, so you kind of lose viewership with that example, but that's not the case with most other businesses. So anyway, go ahead, Ann. Go ahead, Ann.
Well, actually, the great example is that this is where Mark is the master at it. This is where, learning from Mark how to build those joint venture opportunities and have all the different sponsorship opportunities. This is where he excels here. His expertise is it's amazing. I mean, come on, joint venture summit. Think about it. So between what you're learning here and what Mark is teaching, there will be no end to not only the guest expert you will have on your show, but also there's no end to the sponsors and affiliate partners and joint venture partners you can have. So as we're moving on here, I'm not gonna dwell on this, but I wanted you to know, because everybody's like, well, how am I going to get the word out there? Well, the traditional way always works, but every message, whether it's a 30-second commercial, 30-second video tip, or a 60-minute show, there are 3 components. Your script needs to have your hook. You need to grab their attention, and so they want to know more about it, okay? Then the body this is where you gain trust. You give them great information, you gain trust, and you become their advisor, so they want to keep coming back over and over again. And finally, the call to action. You need to give them a compelling reason for you to get the results you want. What do you want? You want more viewers. You want to get people in your program. So there's a whole system to this. Again, like I said, whether it's a 30-second commercial or a 60-minute TV show, it falls in the same template. And we also have, everything that goes along with that too. But I just wanted you to know it's a lot of the traditional marketing principles apply. The fundamentals of marketing apply no matter whether it's video or print. It makes no difference. You still have to go through that. And also, so this is the one that a lot of people, always have a problem with. How am I going to show up on camera? What do I do? Well, there's... Again, I can't really dive in there because this is a whole media training aspect of it, but I can tell you something that's going to make a huge difference. How you dress on camera, you think about who your audience is and how would they expect you to show up. If a plumber showed up at your door wearing a 3-piece suit, that's a disconnect, right? It's like something is not right here. So be yourself. Be yourself and keep in mind how your audience expects you to look, and you'll do just fine. And you'll do ongoing, and of course the body language. There's all kinds of things with that on how to manage yourself in a very small space and still be excited and still be energetic, because you have to connect with your audience in a fun and loving and exciting way, and you have to be passionate about what you're talking about, which you already are because you love what you do. So there's the way to bring all that right into the camera. And of course there's all kinds of ways, where you need to know how to apply makeup and do some vocal exercises and things like that. But we're not going to dive into it right now, but I can tell you that that's a lot of what we teach. And finally, you need to have a plan where how you're going to get yourself out there. What's going to give you maximum exposure and maximize your profit? So these are the things you want to look at. And let me see. So
Marianne, I want to say a quick thing. By the way, for all of you who are watching this, hopefully you're seeing some amazing stuff here. Not only the power of this opportunity, but some of the things that you can do, the things that are possible for you in your market, industry, or niche, what is possible for you in your marketing with all of making this happen. What I want you to know is that my goal is for you to actually make a web TV show. That's my goal. And the reason why is, let me just tell you again, because it's so important. I want to say two things, is that number one, if you have a web TV show, I will have my clients being able to come on there for you, advancing their cause, possibly selling their programs if that's the model. But I can also take your show and bring it into my other partners who have all kinds of distribution outlets for your show, which also allow me to bring in sponsors for your show, because that's what I do. I bring in partners for people. So that'll make me a lot of money. If you create a successful show, I will be making a lot of money with you for many years to come. So that's my goal. So what I want, with that being in mind, I want you to know if you would like Ann to help you create that show, I'm going to show you how to get her everything she's telling you that she's going to help you create for free. I want you. All you have to do is stick around, and if we go through this training of the 12 items on how to do this, finish this up, I'll show you how you can absolutely have her help you at no charge. And I think I can't do anything more than that, because I'm going to make a lot of money when you create a great TV show, a web TV show going forward. So please stick around. I want you to see that because it's really important. So go ahead, Ann.
Okay. Well, you covered so much of it, and this is what we already said. The other thing you're going to be looking at is basically your sponsors, your affiliate and JV partners. The key is knowing how to approach them, and this is what Mark will share with you, knowing exactly what to say. And of course, you have a good show, it will speak for itself. It will make it really easy for you to get out there. It will make it easy for people to market. Like, I want to take you to the 200 million viewers. I want to, because you have a great show. So look at this. Mark and I are here, like, please give us something good to take to the other people. I mean, think about it. Think about it. I love this. And of course, there's multi-channel publicity and the web PR, getting out there, whether it's mobile, internet, TV, social networks, or videos, radios, newspapers, all these different ways you can get the word out there. So bottom line is, once you have the video, you are getting out there in a big way. So now, to make this fun in learning, okay, now here's what I know from working with these experts all these years. The best and easiest way for you to learn how to do something is to do it yourself. The second best way for you to learn how to do something is to watch somebody else do it step by step. Literally watch them go through the whole process, because as you're watching it happen, you're internalizing it. You're making it your own. So that's the second best way. So considering that we can't really be doing one-on-one with thousands of people, we're going to do it the second best way. So that's what we put together. So it's like basically it's like watching The Apprentice. Think about this, okay? If you were sitting there watching the groups, in the show, those of you who watch it, and I know pretty much everybody has watched it, when you watch them create those great platforms, the projects that they're working on, they put together the marketing plans, they're making the phone calls, you can see everything that's happening. It's an easy way to learn. So I figured, you know what? I want to model my show after that, because as I was watching The Apprentice, I was getting so many great ideas. I said, I want to know what they're doing those 2 days while they're shooting the video. I love this 1 hour. I'm getting some great ideas, but I want to know what's happening in there. So I modeled this whole training after that for us to be able to watch. So, we don't see all the brilliant, strategy sessions that are going on in those 2 or 3 days when they're shooting it. So I'm like, that's a lot of great content that I want to share with my people. So this is what we put together. Now, in the training, like every aspect, I'm going to tell you what those 12 modules are in just a second, running one after the other. But basically what happens is that we have 10 people who are going through the whole process, step by step, from module 1 all the way to module 12. And by the way, module 7, you actually are producing your show, your pilot. How cool is that? Exciting. Now, you're watching this whole thing happen step by step. Okay, and you're getting the same tools as, we call them the cast members, but these are really the show hosts in training. The show hosts that they're actually in real time producing their show. So these are show hosts, but we could have using that show business lingo here. Basically, you get to watch what they're doing. You get the same strategies, you get the same tools, same training as they do. And the way it's structured, every Thursday, you get the video trainings and the tools. From Thursday until the following Tuesday, you actually work on your own to put together content. And by the way, this whole thing is designed for the busy professional. I'm a busy professional. I don't have time for hours and hours to go through one training while I'm running a business. So everything is designed that you can actually do the work while you're watching the video. And some of them could only take you 2 hours. Some of them could take you a day. And the scripting one actually takes a little bit longer, like a day, whatever. But you are going through the process, this whole thing with them. And then on Tuesdays, here's the cool part. On Tuesdays at 1 o'clock Pacific time, we actually get on 2 hangouts where the 2 groups of 5 are working through, they're presenting what they have learned, whatever that module is. So let's say it's a scripting module. Each one will read what they have written in the script and then get feedback from the other mastermind members. Now here's where it gets really fun. You can actually pick any one of them to follow throughout the 12 weeks and do exactly what they do, or you can just learn from all 10 of them and model what they do. You have full permission. You're getting the same tools as they are, you're getting the same trainings as they are, and you're able to watch exactly what they're doing in their mastermind sessions. And here's where it gets even more fun. From 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock Pacific time, we have a panel discussion show with guest experts on the topic. So what happens is, like, you will be watching us, me and with 2 or 3 other experts on the topic, discussing that particular module. I'll be asking questions, we'll be interacting, sharing great information. So now you are able to take that information, the work you've done, and fine-tune it even more based on what the experts are discussing. So if that's not enough, here's what happens next. After that, 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock Pacific time, we invite the 10 show hosts into the hangout with the guest experts. Now at this point, we're having, I call them spotlight sessions, where it's actually, hot seats, better known, worldwide. Each one of the show host gets to ask a specific question of the guest experts, one or all of them, and get right there on the spot laser coaching. So as you are watching this, think about this. Number one, you get all this training, video training on your own. You can work through it. You have 5 days to do it, something that will take you only a day at the most. Then you're watching a whole mastermind session going on, so you can fine-tune what you have even more. Then you watch the guest experts that are giving all this great information. So you're, again, fine-tuning what you have put together. And finally, you watch the laser coaching that's going on. And at the end of it, you have 2 more days to fine-tune anything that you have. So the way this is designed is for you to finish each module from start to finish, from Thursday to following Wednesday, and be complete. It's designed so you cannot fail. And, so amazing things happen. Literally amazing things happen with this. And, it's designed to succeed. Like, Kyriakos was saying, in 2 days, we took people who were petrified to get on camera, and they were absolutely magnificent. Well, that doesn't happen by accident. It happens by creating a system that works. And this is what you have right in front of you. So
before you go on, and I want to tell everybody just in 60 seconds, recap of what you just said, because it's so important. Number one is, if you wanted Ann to work with you one-on-one, she'd be charging you $25,000, okay? Because that's what it takes to do something like this. Maybe even more, because it takes, like a 12-week process of putting all these things together and all that. But what she's done is she's not only created so she doesn't have to charge you $25,000, she's actually created so that you can do it in very little time per week over a 12-week period, and she's actually made it more valuable than if she would have had to charge you to do it herself, because she's brought to bear some of the best and brightest people in each of these 12 areas to really supercharge your ability to make this happen in expert panels, in reviews, and everything she just mentioned. So just think about what that is. It's an opportunity of a lifetime that really does allow for the greatest ability for you to go from zero to successful web TV show in a 90-day period. So just want to let you know that. So go ahead, Ann. Go ahead.
Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to quickly just go through each one of the modules, that are there, so you get a good idea what happens from week 1 to week 12. So the first week it's all about the mindset. It's all about the positioning. You choosing, your positioning, the go-to show host in your industry. What is your title? And actually, Mark is going to be on that module. One of the experts he's amazing at it. I can tell you that with the branding. So the next thing is going to do, we're going to literally show you how to step into your celebrity self. There's some great exercises where you're not going to have any resistance to get on camera. You're going to be excited about getting on camera. So module 3 is blueprinting your show. This is where you decide what your authentic style is. Are you the educator, the curator, or the critic? You're going to know what all these things are. It's very, very important. Of course, the formatting of your show that I already went through this module quite a bit. So then we have episode 4 and 5. It's all about your scripting. You're going to know how to do all that, to hook the body on a call to action. This is a critical one, so we're going to spend 2 episodes on that, identifying your ideal audience. So you are really going to be very clear who you're talking to, and more importantly, what you need to say to them. Okay, so then episode 6 is your, stepping into your magnetic self. It's about dressing, how to dress right, your body language, your vocals, and we have Hollywood makeup artists showing you exactly how to apply makeup to look absolutely fabulous. Okay, so episode 7 is producing your pilot. This is how do you frame your shot? What do you do? Broadcasting on Google Hangout, and actually, using third-party software like the one I'm using right now. That's very affordable, very easy to use. That's going to make you look like a pro in no time. You get all of that. And of course, you'll know how to set up your studio. As a matter of fact, before even beginning with the first module, as soon as you register, you get the training on how to set up your studio, the cameras, lights, and all that, how to set it up so you look absolutely fabulous. And then there's even a module on editing your videos. Now, you don't have to know how to edit your videos. You don't have to edit your videos, but you need to know what information to give to the editor. So this module is critical, and if you want to do it yourself, there's actually free software that we tell you how to use, whether you use a Mac or a PC. So this module is, it's critical, knowing what to do with it. And of course, episode 8, it's all about the business growth calculator. It's about turning your show into cash. It's like, what do you want to do? What's your plan? It's one thing to say you want to make $1 million, but how are you going to make it? Well, we actually have the whole thing designed. Well, how to make $100,000, whether it's from sponsorship or a program you want to promote, how many leads do you need, how much you should charge, and what your profit margin should be. These are only 3 of the 7 numbers that are already calculated for you. They're already in there, ready for you to go. Even how to make money with membership sites.
One little point I wanted to tell you there is the fact that, ultimately that particular module is really important for business, because ultimately business is math. What works? How do you systematically go through it? How do you bring people into it? How do you get the money coming in it? And how many people come on board to bring in how much money and all that stuff. And literally walking through all those numbers is actually critically important. But it also is like the version of a business plan, because ultimately the numbers all tie into really a profit and loss, if you think about it, to the point where are you going to be making lots of money based on real examples of it's the effect of giving you not only a business plan, but a system to create a business plan that's guaranteed to work if you make your numbers happen based on real examples of how other people can do it and all that. That is a really important module there that she trains you on in a whole week, so you can know how to create a business plan to make this profitable. And it's really amazing. It truly you're really amazed at what you see there. But remember, knowing what those numbers are, knowing what numbers you need to pick, knowing which numbers fit together to make that kind of a plan happen is is a whole week training in itself, but it's so amazing and important that you actually know those things in order to put on your own web TV show. Go ahead, Ann. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Now, so here's the bottom line here is that this whole thing is designed for the web TV show to make you money, not cost you money. I know a lot of people have gotten, they've gotten on TV shows, they got radio shows, they're spending monthly, this, a monthly that, whatever it is, they're spending hundreds of dollars a month to be on even on the radio network, and they don't monetize it. Well, not here, so this whole thing is designed to make you money, in case you haven't noticed already. So this is an important component. You get to make a decision. How much money do you want to make? Once you make that decision, well, then here's how you make it. It's done for you. It literally is done. The calculations, everything is done for you, so you know exactly what to do. So finally, episode 9 is developing your marketing blueprint. How are you going to get that maximum exposure? How are you going to maximize your profit so you're not throwing money away? And this is where you decide the social media marketing, repurposing your content, all the different ways you can use it. And, this is going to be a lot. So how do you do this? You can't do it by yourself, but how do you do it? Well, there's all kinds of virtual help available out there. Knowing the help that you need and knowing how to get them is the key. So we actually are creating a whole virtual team that's going to be trained in producing this. So you can even get help with that if that's what you need, if you need some additional help besides the help that you have. So all of this is there to make sure that you succeed, because you can have the best ideas, but if they're not implemented, they don't do any good, as we know. And, so enough said about that. Now, then there's the co-op marketing. This is where, guess what? All the people that were your best guest experts fit in here, as Mark so beautifully pointed out before. So this is the one where how you approach them. What do you do? And then episode 11 is web PR, your multi-channel publicity. How you're going to get it out there? You're on the air. And by the way, episode 8, 7, 8, you are already producing your pilot. So at this point, you're already making money. So remember, if you're going through the process, you're approaching sponsors, you already have the plan, you're already getting out there, and you're on the air. You are out there, you're on the air. And then finally, it's about you getting the media to love you. What do you do? How do you get their attention? Well, right now, you're already rubbing elbows with the media. They're out there. If you'll have TV producers approaching you. You'll have all kinds of opportunities to get on other TV shows, to get other people on your shows, because once they see you have a good show, they want to be on your show. Nobody wants to be associated with a show that's not good, because it's going to make them look bad. So then you'll all of a sudden have thought leaders who want to be interviewed by you. Now, there's all kinds of amazing things happen by association, and you go global, and with this, you go to every nook and cranny of the globe. You don't know where your clients are. They're all over the globe. They're in the small villages. They're in the big cities. You never know who you're going to help, where you're going to help. And the beauty of this is that with a TV show, even when somebody can't afford to hire you, you can still help them, because you're helping millions of people at the same time. That feeds the heart, that feeds the soul. And at the same time, because you are on TV, because you are the show host, you're going to be attracting some of the most amazing clients who not only like you, but also have the money to pay you. All of us know, because a lot of people like us, but, I wish I could afford you. Well, you won't have that anymore, because the people who can't afford you, you can afford to give them a free consultation without it hurting you, okay? So all these amazing things will happen if you actually just go ahead and take action with this. And so I know, Mark, you sound like you wanted to say something there.
No, actually, I didn't. Okay.
You were just nodding your head.
Yeah, exactly. I was just nodding my head, but you might as well say something. Yeah. So, wanted you show? Do you think what it would take to have somebody walking you through all this? How much money that would take? Ann's going to share with you a little bit about what that is, but more importantly, she'll show you what you would normally charge somebody, but then we're going to talk about how you can absolutely get this at no charge because of what we're trying to do with the WebTV Mastermind and all that we're putting together. So go ahead, Ann.
Okay, so did you just These are just some numbers I put together because I wanted you to understand what does it take to really be trained to, get out there and have your own web TV show. So get into your celebrity mindset, what kinds of trainings to go through. That would be at least $500 to $1,000. There's all kinds of programs out there. Your magnetic self. This is media training, easily $1,000 to $3,000. If you're going to have some private coaching, you can go run into tens of thousands of dollars. And script writing. Oh my goodness! If you're going to get somebody to teach you how to do it, $1,000 or more to do it for you, it could be $20,000. So the gamut, it's like a whole wide range where you could be in there. And in producing your video, setting up your home studio, $1,000 to $2,000. But we show you how to do it, where you can get the equipment yourself and set it up, so you don't have to pay extra money for people to set it up for you, unless you want to, of course. Producing your video, anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000 you could be spending to producing a simple episode, where a lot of it you're going to be able to do yourself, knowing which tools to use. Then all you have to do is, spend a little bit of money on editing, or and hiring a small crew. You can use your money in a better way in producing your show. And again, you can go as big as you want. You can spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on a TV show like the broadcasting networks do. So what we want to do is we want to give you the option to do what you want to do. And broadcasting your video, again, it could be anywhere, depending on what broadcasting channels you're using. You could be spending $1,500 to $10,000 per show, and we're not going to go into that. But these are realistic numbers, by the way, all checked. And finally, getting paid to monetize your show, turning your show into cash. If you're going to sit there, get a business consultant to sit down with you, develop your blueprint, you'll pay anywhere from $5,000 to $25,000 easy, even for a one-day consultation. Multi-channel publicity. If you're hiring somebody, you'll spend anywhere from $500 to $2,000 per month. And that's easily, check it. All these numbers you can double check, triple check. As a matter of fact, I'm going on a lower end. Okay, and finally, co-op marketing. This is priceless. If you were to get a joint venture, manager to go out there, get, set deals up for you, oh my goodness, you can't even put a price on this with the people you're going to have approaching you because of who you are, where you are, what you're doing. So, with all this in front of you, I mean, this whole thing, you could easily cost you, and this is a lowball, over $12,000 to be in a program that will cover even a snippet of what we're doing. And of course, you saw the numbers. If you were to put them together individually, you would be spending about $100,000. But what we're doing here, for what Mark and I are doing at this point, because we want we want great content. We need great content. Bottom line is that. So we're working together. We want to partner up with you to make great things happen. We're just offering this whole thing for only $497 right now. Okay, that's the start of it. So Mark, I'm going to toss it over to you because I know you have something to say about it. You have some.
Okay, so you got to realize how ridiculous I know that sounds for $497. But in all fairness, this isn't about us making money on helping you become a show host. Okay, this is really about us putting together a web TV mastermind. Because ultimately the future, we believe wholeheartedly in the future of web TV. And we believe that when we can create show hosts that have the ability to take content to the networks we have in all kinds of places that you'd never believe, okay? What you're talking about here is that we make a lot of money, okay? So so what I want you to do is, if you want to join, actually, Alan, what we can do is we can, and we'll give you a link in a little bit about that to join, if that's how you'd like to join. But there's a couple of things we're also going to do. We're going to have you come in into the call here with us, and we're going to do a strategy session for anybody about how you can actually do your web TV show. We're going to actually walk you through, how it could work in your industry, deal with the questions and objections you may have, so we can actually help you to understand how it can fit in your business. Matter of fact, what I'll do is, while I'm talking for a minute, I'll give you the link to that. The way to get inside, to be in here in the Hangout with us, is actually, Mega Hangout, with not an S, megahangout.com/WebTV Inside. So if you go to megahangout.com/WebTV Inside, you'll get a link that'll bring you straight in here to be a guest with us. I have one goal, or a rule about that is, please mute yourself as soon as you come in and wait till we call on you. If you don't mute yourself and I can't get you unmuted or whatever, I'm just going to have to kick you out of the session, which I do not want to do. But I have one rule, and that is to make sure that you have yourself muted when you come inside. Okay, so that's, once again, I'll tell you what that is, and I'll come back to that again. megahangout.com/WebTV inside, and you can come in and join us for a strategy session. But let me just say this about how you can absolutely get this for free, and this is really what our goal is that, because some people will actually take this training and do nothing with it. If you do nothing with it, I can't help you. You can't help you. Nothing, nothing's going to ever work if you do nothing. But if you actually go ahead and take, Ann's training, I know you'll have an awesome TV show. I've seen it happen with all of our clients for many years, so that's why I'm willing to do what I'm about to tell you. And you have two ways of making this work. The first way, for free. First way is, first of all, if you do, actually, there's three ways. One, just do it and make your own web TV show. Be making enough money to pay for this anyway. But in addition to that, I want to tell you that I want you to come to, at no charge, to my Joint Venture Summit in the fall, or whenever the next one you can make is, or if you can't do it live and in person, you can come to it virtually when we have a virtual one available. So that's number one, and what that means is, after you have your show working, you have this content, I want you to be able to come to our event, and you're going to connect with the people who are going to help you to take that, to partner with people to get wherever you want to take that show in any niche you want to make it happen. So that's number one I want you to do. I'm going to give you that as my gift just for participating today. But what I want to do is something even far greater. Let me tell you how my business works. I sell money. I sell money at 10 cents on a dollar. So if you want to make $100,000 with your show, I basically charge you $10,000. I bring you in partners who will bring in that kind of revenue for you. That's what I do. So it's kind of what and I do it with, I can take other higher percentages depending on how much involvement I have in the company. It's kind of what I call the Elvis Presley Tom Parker model. Colonel Tom Parker was Elvis Presley's manager. He got him into all the places he needed to do to make him into the celebrity he wanted to be, to make his whole business work. I do the same thing. And so what I was suggesting to you is that I will actually bring you on as a client, as a part of coming on board. And what I'll do is that not only will I bring you, getting you the business that you want to get for your TV show after you put it together, what I'll also do is the first $497 of even my fees, I will give back to you. So I'll actually rebate every penny, because I want you to create a web TV show that I can start making hundreds of thousands of dollars or more with you on an ongoing basis. And it really can't do any better than that. If you look at what I can do and the people I can partner with, you know how valuable that is. And so I want you to be able to do that with me. That being said, hopefully this link is working. I don't know if it is or not. So even if you're watching and you don't want to come in, if you could do me a favor, come in on it anyway. Maybe I'll go look at the links, or have one of my staff go check out to make sure the link's working. But it's megahangout.com/WebTV inside. Now, the other thing I want you to tell you is one of the important element. Okay, we got people coming in. Good. Appreciate that. I know some of you actually don't have the ability to come on right now, because you don't have maybe your program. Maybe you don't have your camera set up or your audio set up, and you're just watching this live on the site. If you don't want to come in right now, we'll be also glad to do a one-on-one strategy session with you as well. What I'd like to do is, Ann, do you have one of the important elements? Do you have an email address that we can send them to do that? I'll tell you what, I'll just send them to mine. Just all you got to do is go to support@jointventuresummit.com. Support@jointventuresummit.com, and we'll schedule a time with you to have a one-on-one strategy session to help you get through this. So bottom line, that's where we're at. So we have a couple people here for a strategy session. Welcome. I think we have Susan here. Susan, hello. Susan, hello. You have to unmute yourself first. Go at the top there and click on mute. There you go. You know how to do that. Your mouse at the very top, it should, where you have the word says a red microphone, just click on that and make it non-red. There you go. Oh, you went back on the mute. There you go. Hi, Susan.
Hi.
How are you doing? Tell us where you're from and what your business is. And you still giving me a little echo there. Okay, so tell us a little bit where you're from, Susan, and what you got going. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what your business is and what you're looking to do with WebTV?
Click on that, make it now.
I'll mute myself as well, so go ahead.
I'm in Denver, Colorado.
Hi, Susan.
One other thing you got to do is you're going to have to shut down the viewer for a minute or pause it so that you can, because you're playing while also in the Hangout. So pause the Hangout so that you don't have to hear two different things going on. Okay? Okay, go ahead.
Because you don't have your program.
So Susan, you're muted. So what you want to do is unmute. Go to the top now of where you're showing yourself. There you go. You're all good. Now you can talk.
You're going to have to shut down the viewer for a minute.
Shut down the
or
viewer.
Pause it. And because you're playing while also in the Hangout.
I know, I'm sorry.
So pause the Hangout so that you don't have to hear two different things going on. Okay?
Yeah, and I don't know how to pause the Hangout. That's the problem.
Okay, so highlight over the video, and just you'll see a little pause button or a play button right there. Just make it so that there's two lines going up and down.
Top now of where you're showing yourself.
Since you're inside, you can actually shut down that window that you were watching originally on if you want.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully we lost. Okay. Susan, what you're going to do is if you can see me on the other one now, make sure you come back in using that link, so which is megahangout.com/inside. You can come back in and just not be playing the other video that you have to shut down. So hopefully you'll see that and come back in. Okay, so we have another. Hello, Jim. How you doing? You can unmute yourself as well there. Just go to the top, Jim, and highlight the top there, and where the red microphone is, unmute yourself, and then you can talk and tell us where you're from. Take your little mouse, put it at the top of the screen there, and then you'll see a red microphone. Click that red microphone and make it non-red, and you'll be able to get in.
Mark, I think I'm just going to do a screen share on how I can mute and unmute myself. What do you think?
Okay, that sounds good. It looks like Ron's on board, and while Jim's figuring that out, I'm going to pull Ron out. Hello, Ron.
Okay.
Hello, Ron. If you need to unmute yourself to there you go. You click it again so it's not red.
Got it.
There you go, Ron.
I don't know why.
How you doing, Ron?
I'm doing just fine. How are you?
Good. If you have the other viewer going, you may want to shut that down or pause it. Or actually, Andy, you need to probably mute yourself for a minute, and then I'll let you take over. But tell Ron, everybody, where you're coming from and your industry, which I know a lot about because you were at the summit, and you're one of my clients and things. But why don't you share with everybody what you're doing and how WebTV could work for what you're doing?
Well, let's see. I'm a consultant and trainer in the hazardous waste business. Doing training for employee training for OSHA, EPA, and DOT regulations, and I also do consulting for the same. And to be perfectly honest, I don't know how WebTV can work for me. It's an industry that certainly hasn't ever taken advantage of anything like this before. So I don't know. There's, I guess, the opportunity to be the first one in the pool. But at the same time, I can't see personally, because I just don't know how to do it. I can't see how to make this something that you can use to go to your people. Who wants to talk about hazardous waste and regulations?
Exactly. Well, so let's talk a little bit about how this could work for you. So picture this. This is an information business that's really important. And if there was a show out there, maybe it's even a monthly show on updated regulations. Let me ask you a question, Ron. How often do the regulations are they updated?
They're updated on probably a weekly basis on many different levels.
Okay, so picture this. Picture having a EPA update WebTV show, Hangout, whatever you want to call it. And so now, literally, you become the only one with a weekly TV show about this kind of stuff, where you can talk about, as an example, case studies, right? You can say, okay, here's what company A, here's what their situation was, right? Here's what company A did, and here's why they now are paying $2.5 million because of what they did, right? Okay, so that you can share with these case studies, but also have a call where at the end you actually can answer questions, and when you answer those questions, bring on clients, because depending on what you're trying to do, and I know a little bit about your business in this area, of course you can bring on clients, you can of course have them buy into your training programs and to do the whole thing, or even bring them into other trainers or people who can actually help them get rid of the hazardous waste or do all the other things that you have going on. In addition to that, you could have the show where it talks about what that person should have done. So you have things like going, you have a case study of, in the same situation, company B was in the same situation in general, but here's what they did. And they did it a little bit different, which allowed them not only to be a better citizen, but they also created a situation where they didn't have the $2.7 million liability in EPA violations or whatever else it was, or worse, having an environmental situation that hurts people and who knows what they got going on there with that whole thing. But you see the value of that, where you can now explain that to a marketplace that, look, when you need your questions answered, we have the weekly TV show, which is EPA Update, or whatever you want to call it, if you can use the words EPA, or Environmental Update, which is a weekly show that actually has you as this leading guest, or as the leading host. Now what you can also do then is, and I'll have Ann come in here and give us some more feedback as well, and I'm just talking because I happen to know your industry a little bit. The fact is, you could also bring in expert guests from the EPA, from state EPA organizations, expert guests who have done these different things and have allowed them to take those different topics, experts who have removed that kind of a waste, or experts who have actually fulfilled a company's approach to doing this. So here's what ends up happening. What actually ends up happening is, everywhere on the internet, when they're typing these words in, because of the relationship with, say, Google and YouTube and, say, Hangouts, you've created a situation where your name, your show, your experts pop up every single time because of the dominance that you hold in the industry, and especially how Google and Hangouts has allowed them to create a situation where you're at. So that's the gist of an example of how that can happen. And why don't you say a few words about how that could also help?
Okay. Well, I have a question for you, Ron. How does your industry affect me as a consumer? What are some of the things I should know?
Well, let's see. That's an interesting question. The people that are going to be my customers are manufacturers.
And you're going to mute yourself.
Are manufacturers, distributors, and the people that are putting out the products that you're going to be buying. Compliance is very expensive for a lot of these big companies, so it certainly impacts. It could potentially impact your cost as a consumer. I mean, look at Walmart recently. They just got fined $16 million, if I remember correctly, something like that, because of some of their hazardous waste violations. So that's one potential aspect.
And one quick interjection before we go any further. Some people want to know actually how to actually buy the program. So if you could actually give them a link so that they know where to go to buy it, that would be helpful. And then we can go on with our strategy session here. You're muted. Sorry.
Okay, there we go. You can actually go to turnyourshowintocash.com. Turnyourshowintocash.com. And once you register, you're going to be filling out, information about you because we want to know all about you. And be sure at the bottom when it says, who should we thank you, put big bold letters, Mark Harris. So we want to make sure that we know you're Mark's special clients, and we will be treating you that way. So again, turnyourshowintocash.com. Once you get there, you just put your name and email, and you will automatically be taken to a page where all this information is a long, page with a lot of information, a lot of detail that covers pretty much what I shared with you. So you can read it or not. But at the bottom of it, you'll be able to go ahead and register for the program. Okay? Looking forward to getting to know all of you. I'm excited. I'm really excited about getting together, especially with Mark's people, because I know what we do, the combination of the two of us supporting you is going to make a huge difference. So way to go. Okay, so Ron, now what jumped out at me is that everybody's talking about going green. So if you can actually showcase companies that are compliant, like Mark was saying, and so that's going to be added value for them. But also, as consumers, we want to support the companies that are compliant, that are conscious of our environment. So that would be a great way. That there would be a segment in there where you actually bring in the public in as well. So there's all kinds of ways. I understand with the bigger corporations, but they all of the big corporations, they want to have good publicity. They want to have good things said about themselves. So there you go. You are the platform where they can be showcased. We want to reward the companies that are doing good. So, I would say that's a great way to go.
Wow, that's I'll tell you, that's some very interesting ideas you've got there, Mark. You hit on three different topics that I've written down during the course of our conversation, and the format of the show, and about the different segments of a particular program. One of them I wrote down case, the other one I wrote down. So you were right on the right on there for that.
Thank you there, Ron. What questions would you have that would actually either stop you from going ahead with doing, say, having this WebTV show and joining, say, Ann's program to move forward on something like that? What questions do you have that would either prevent you from doing it or get you to that would help you to understand that this is something you need to do?
Well, I don't have any real questions. I mean, I can see that you have a very well laid out program here, and I don't really doubt the effectiveness of it. For me, I've always had an aversion to being photographed, like some of the people that you meant before that were just petrified of being on camera. I'm not petrified of it, but I've never been comfortable in that medium. So that would probably take a little work on my part. But really, I can see the value of going forth with this. I really can.
Okay.
Ron, I have a little confession here. I was one of the reluctant people to step in front of the camera for years. I said, I love being the expert behind the expert. I love being the person who puts them in front of the camera. That's where my place is. You know what? Bottom line is that I had to overcome it, and actually now I'm comfortable. I love it. I have fun. I love the idea of connecting with people, interacting with them, but I did have the aversion myself. So a lot of the programs, some of the things I have used, it's a combination of what we have helped other people to overcome, but also my own internal, questions and answers that I had to overcome. So I know the program works, and I mean, we've proved it. Hundreds of people, seriously. So, just you got to trust the process with it. If that's the only thing that's standing in the way of you really claiming the territory and being the show host for what you're doing, I would say don't worry about that. It's not even an option. That's not going to stand in your way at all. Trust me.
Just before this webinar here, I attended a webinar with Alex Mendosian. And he was talking about life lessons, and the life lesson that I have was learning how to swim in deep water. I was always afraid of deep water until one day my dad picked me up and bodily threw me out into water that was over my head. And gee, I learned that I wasn't going to sink. I could still swim. I wasn't gonna float out with the tide. And so this is really kind of what I'm looking at here, the same issue. And it's well, it's one of those things where you have to decide to take the step or not. I'm still here.
It's a deep end of the pool in front of you. And by the way, Alex is going to be one of the instructors on a Hangout module, so you know. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, well that's good. So Ron, we hope to expect to see you in the program. Either way, you get the links there. I've actually put the links into the Facebook comments below this Hangout on megahangout.com/webtv/live if you're watching there. So megahangout.com/webtv/live, and there's links about how to get into how to schedule your own strategy session. There's a link on how to get inside with us right now if you'd like to do the strategy session right this second, and there's also a link to actually buy the program by actually going to the link, which is turnyourshowintocash.com. So anyway, those links are there. If you're, for some reason you may need to create, make sure that your comments are in reverse chronological order, where it says there's like 588 comments. Click that and do reverse chronological, which will give you the most recent comments at the top. So hopefully that helps you as well. Okay, so now we have, thank you very much, Ron. Okay, Jim, I hope, oh good, you're not muted. Tell us a little about your business and what your thoughts are on WebTV. Still a little bit, okay, you're not muted in Google Hands now, but I think your microphone is muted because I can't hear your voice. Okay, I see you talking, but I don't think I hear you. Let's see, go to the very top, highlight over maybe your face or my face or whatever you're seeing, and at the top you're going to see several icons, a person, the microphone, the camera, and all that. There's a little thing called settings. It's like it looks like a gear thing there. Click that, and then when you click that, you should get a settings box which will allow you to use different microphones and speakers. Try those different settings there, and you should maybe fix it because we can't hear you. Okay, there's somebody else here in the inside, which looks like their name is So. We can't see you, but if you want to talk, maybe we can hear you. Okay, guess not. Okay, so Jim, we hope we can hear you here. So SO, if you can hear us, let's see, somebody's going to be right back. Oh, that's Jim. He's probably fixing something. So anyway, a couple key things here that I wanted to just say here. Number one is if you wanted to do a strategy session with Ann about how this can work in your business and the details of anything like that, all you got to do is go to support@jointventuresummit.com, email that, and we'll schedule up a time for you. If you wanted to get into the program now and actually take advantage of me paying for it for free, then you can just go to Turn Your Show Into Cash, fill it in, and so Ann knows it's the deal I just gave you. Just put it in Mark Harris there, so that she knows that to make sure that you get in the special deal. I just told you where I pay for it by getting your show, done like we talked about earlier. The third option is if you can come in here, and some people are having a little technical difficulty, but that's okay. We're glad to have you do this. As a matter of fact, Ann, do you want to try to walk them through something? Maybe you can help somehow? Okay, he just left. And you're muted, so. You have to unmute yourself, Ann. There you go.
Yeah, so Mark, I was actually looking for my screenshot there to get on. Okay, let's see. There we are. Okay.
One other thing while you're there, just everyone, if you want, if a question or a comment, down below, you can put down below the video on the megahangout.com/webtv/live page. Just put it in there, and we can maybe answer some of your questions at this point, and or hopefully we'll see you inside. So I'll be right back here. I'm gonna go downstairs and see if you got any of those. Go ahead.
Well, I'm getting that infinity thing going on here with you in it. So let's see. So this is where you want to look up. The gear that Mark was talking about is up here. You click on that, and this is where the speakers are. Your audios. This is I have a lot of different options on mine, but you should have maybe 1 or 2 options on yours. Okay, so that's. That's probably confusing. That's all right.
Okay, one other question we had, Ann, here was from Cynthia. She was asking, how is Ann showing both the slides and herself? Well,
it's actually yeah. Let's see. No, it's actually a special. Third-party software that I'm using. It only costs like $25 every 3 months, and basically $97 a year. You can do all those cool things. I can I can play videos. I can I'm actually in front of a green screen. Watch this. We can do some cool things with this, and I have that. I have the backdrop. I can change my backdrops to get brighter. I can go on the beach if I want to. Or I can. So it's basically you can do all kinds of cool things with it, and literally it gives you the tools to be your own production company. You can be your own TV producer, and actually TV stations, they have people standing there clicking through all this stuff, all these big gadgets. Well, technology has come so far where you can literally be a one-man band, if you will, and get things out. So it's called, I'll give you the name of it, it's called XSplit. And one of the things you actually learn in the program is how to use this, because we can actually use a couple of different cameras. And as a matter of fact, I'll even show you, let's see, this is the one? No, that's not the one we want to show. Well, you know what? We have a bunch of different cameras. There's the green screen that I'm sitting in front of. And so all kinds of cool things you can do. And you learn all these things behind the scenes. You learn all these things how to do. And you can have your assistants do it for you. So this is what makes this program so special, because not only you have the knowledge, the marketing background, but you have years of television expertise from my husband Michael. And he doesn't, he's one guy that he really loves to be behind the camera. He's an amazing director. He directed 6 o'clock news, and he knows how to get really great information out. When we do our 3-day intensives, like the one Kyriakos was talking about, he just got them up and running, right in front of the camera practically. There were a bunch of exercises that we have fine-tuned. So what I'm saying is that the thing about this program is that we're not just, saying, here, go on Google Hangout. We're actually teaching you what they do in television. We're scaling it down, including the tools like the one that I was just showing you. You can't even buy an assistant. You can't even hire an assistant actually for $100 a year. Never mind do this. So this unheard of, unbelievable, and amazing things are in front of us right now that it wasn't even possible like a year ago. It wasn't possible 6 months ago. So it's just an amazing time. Anyways, these are some of the things we didn't get to talk about, what's really available in technology and what you can take advantage of. So I'll give you a long answer to a short question, but that's what it is.
All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to wrap up now because we're well past our 2 hours, which we planned on 90 minutes, but hey, that's okay. We enjoyed this immensely. Hope it was helpful to you. Please let us know if it was. And how we can help you advance your career on this. Most importantly, if you think they're not sure or you know that this could be very valuable, you just don't know how to make it work for what you're doing, or how it could possibly work for you, or does the niche work for you, or maybe other issues that relate to stopping you from acting on this, schedule a strategy session with us, and we'll help you figure that out, just like we did with Ron here, how he could see how that's going to help with his business and doing some amazing things there. So go to you can email us at support@jointventuresummit.com, and we'll be glad to schedule a time with you. The other thing is, if you're ready to start right now and take advantage of my offer to pay for the whole thing for you, basically, if after you get a show created, I'll help connect you with people, and the first monies will go to you to help take care of that. We can talk about that in detail if you need help. Just ask us some questions about that, and or you can go to turnyourshowintocash.com, and all these links should be there underneath the video here, the Hangout video on the page, megahangout.com/webtv/live. And so that should be it. And why don't you give us any final words you may have?
Final words, basically, just get out there and do it. Whether you do it with us, whether you do it on your own, at least get in front of the camera and get comfortable with it, because the world needs what you have to say. We just have made it easier for you. We have everything laid out. So walk with us, and we're looking for you. You obviously are looking for us because you're here on the call. So let's get together and make some magic happen, because the world needs us.
Yes. You can change the world, and you have your message, and you and your business and your company and your talents, and you can bring some great things to bear in your market or industry or niche. So, and Web TV is the trend that really pervades most others right now, and in so many different ways. If you don't even understand that after everything we talked about, just let us know, and we'll get you even more information on why that's such an amazing thing. But otherwise, on that, we sign off and hope to see you creating a web TV show that will be powerful in your market for a market that you're looking to serve in a big way. And it was great having you, Ann. Thank you so much. And also Ron, and wherever you are, and the other two people who tried to get on, Jim and I can't remember her name. Hopefully we'll have a scheduled session for you and be able to help you with these things. Take care, everybody, and have a great day. Bye, everyone.